Welcome back to the Fighters Corner podcast for another podcast episode. This week we brought back Mr. Miguel Iturrate and we talked boxing again. What is going on in the heavyweight division? Do you really want to know? Well, if you do want to know, listen to this podcast, all right? A lot of good stuff going in the heavyweight division right now that you don't want to miss, and we got you up to date with all. Enjoy the podcast, guys. So who are you taking in this weekend's fights? I know who I got, and it's not who you think. So I'm going to take my picks over to the world's safest and most trusted online gambling site and make a few bets. That's right, it's BetDSI.com. With more than 20 years experience in the online gaming industry, BetDSI has the best sign-up and deposit promotions on the web. They also boast more deposit options than any other betting site, including fast, free, and secure payouts. Also, for our listeners, they are offering a special promotion where you can build a bigger bankroll and get 100% sports cash bonus when using our promo code Fighters Corner, all one word. That's 50% more sports cash by using our promo code Fighters Corner. Check out BetDSI for all your online gaming needs.
This episode is sponsored by B2 Digital. B2 Digital is doing some really cool things in the mixed martial art world. They're kind of creating a farm league for the bigger shows, and they are listed on a publicly traded company, listed on the stock exchange, BTDG on the stock exchange. They support our show. Guys, please, if you guys like this show, please give them a look, and if you can throw some support their way, man, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Also, please don't forget to subscribe, hit like, share, all because you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Radio Player, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and the guy sitting next to you on the train is probably listening to us too. And if you can, show us your support by finding us on Patreon, where you can let us know how much you love us. And if you're a fan of boxing, jiu-jitsu, kumite, and even capoeira, go check out my guys at UCL MMA. These guys are the heavyweight champions of mixed martial arts shows. And if you think you're the next Johnny Lawrence, go to their website at UCLMMA.com, shoot them an email and tell them John sent you before asking their matchmaker that you want to defend your All-Valley Karate Championship versus one of their fighters. That's UCLMMA.com.
Welcome back to the Fighters Corner podcast. John Goroski, hey. Miguel Iturrate, and myself, Mike Davis. Miguel, bring us to the news, buddy.
Well, on the boxing side, I think we got the most exciting news, although the UFC's got a big card this weekend. But let's start with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua 2 being set for December 7th in Saudi Arabia.
What is you know what? It's kind of weird. It seems like that part of the world is like with, not this next UFC, but the UFC after that. WWE has been there for a while. Mm-hmm. It seems that they're really making like a play at some of the bigger events, in sports, and I don't know. It's good. Anytime you get like an international feel like that, there's more money being pumped into sporting events. All it means is more money for the people involved.
Is it for sure?
Right, happening? But I think Saudi Arabia comes with a couple of asterisks, though. And you're right, like in terms of the WWE's example and other things like that. But I think, for example, that they've got other political problems, and there's a lot of things that are getting done there just for to make the country look good, like you said. But the bottom line is for example, here they're going to go fight probably in a beautiful brand new stadium, and there's going to be no local public. Who in Saudi Arabia cares about boxing? Why is this fight there? It's only there to please one sponsor, or a sponsor, or maybe actually the guy who's in the news, the Crown Prince, because he sponsors a lot of this types of events, and then from there, you're subject to his will. And, who knows what happens when it comes to drug testing and all kinds of things.
I like to be at those parties.
So that's what I wonder, because we've already seen on things that are much more serious in boxing that Saudi Arabia can be sort of a rogue.
Wow.
So, I don't feel comfortable going over there if I'm Andy Ruiz. He grabbed $9 million, so, that does solve a lot of problems.
Did you catch the presser this today or no? Because
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you catch the press conference today?
I didn't.
I have not. I'm about to. I was sitting there looking through stuff, but no, I have not seen it yet.
I can't confirm this because I didn't watch it, but I heard through some people that were telling me Eddie Hearn was the only one that was there. There was no Andy Ruiz. There was no Anthony Joshua. Wow. Did Andy Ruiz sign off on this fight? Because last I heard, he was pegging for a couple more million on this.
Yeah, he was saying it's going to happen in the States. He doesn't care. I mean, in his last interview, and you know, like let's kind of come full circle here. You know, some of the issues that they have there are women aren't allowed to go to sporting events either. So, like when you're talking about like the local audience, and it's pretty much only there to appease one sponsor. You know, I mean, this could be something used to bridge the social gaps or issues that present themselves in that part of the world, you know, in regards to...
Yeah, I don't think it's strong enough of a presence. That, you know, they've admitted to butchering that journalist, right? So it happened. What they're not admitting to is that it came from the Crown Prince's orders, right? Mm-hmm. But they admitted that they butchered him. Now, that's all much more serious and a much more serious stage than anything on the sporting end. But what's interesting, you bring up Eddie Hearn. How does Eddie Hearn explain this to Katie Taylor, you know, his big woman boxer that he's promoting and doing all kinds of things? But yeah, you know, when we get a chance, the boys are going to go over here and grab money. No, you can't come. No, you can't get any of these paydays. Sorry. Business is business. It's, that's how it is. So it really is just a money grab and nothing more, and it shouldn't be looked at as anything more. There's no altruism or anything good about it. It's just a money grab.
Wow. Yeah, I'm catching something right now. According to a report from Mike Copenhager of The Athletic, Ruiz Jr. is not expected to sign off on a rematch unless he's guaranteed a significantly higher purse than the approximate $9 million he's been guaranteed to fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, see, he's not playing. Like, I think the rematch clause that we had said that didn't exist, that Eddie Hearn said did exist, I'm thinking it didn't exist, or if it did, it was with such little teeth that in terms of like...
it sounds like they have a rematch clause. It sounds like they don't have an ironclad rematch clause.
Yeah, it just sounds like, you know, in terms of like real estate, you know, when you're negotiating, I think the one that they sent over was something that was pretty weak. But, you know, like, have you been listening to any of Andy Ruiz's interviews?
He's done. I mean, like...
Miguel, have you? You're saying he's done. Miguel, have you listened to any of his interviews?
I have seen several of his interviews. I've seen a couple of them, even on the Latin side. He's done a pretty good media blitz in Mexico as well, trying to get his name out there, and I guess trying to monetize, the big payday.
This is his last big payday.
Oh yeah.
He
wants that, without a doubt. This might be I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike, but this might be the last time
we see Andy Ruiz
in a big fight like this.
I can't agree more. Well, he might get one more, if he's got to do a round robin with the other guys just because he's got a name. But listening to his interviews tells me that he is detached from understanding the needs and necessities of being a world champion.
Right. I agree.
Like with diet and stuff like that, when you listen to his interviews and he's talking about diets, he's like, well, I eat sandwiches, I eat this, I eat that. And they start kind of getting, what about whole grains? Are you staying away from them? Are you laying heavy on the meat? No, just like tacos. And like he's clueless. And then you look at a guy like Anthony Joshua. All right, knuckleheadery. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember that term. Like when you were in grammar school,
sure,
your parents used to say, hey, man, you hang out with the smart kids, you do smart things. You hang out with the dumb kids, you do stupid things.
Right.
And then you look at like Anthony Joshua and who he hangs out with.
Right.
Let's just say Anthony Joshua goes, man, I'm kind of down today. I'm a little sore. You look at the guys he surrounds himself with, they will not allow him to take a day off.
Yeah.
Those types of individuals all have goals. They all have, we're going to the gym. Right. We're going to the gym.
Yep.
And then you look at the guys that Andy Ruiz hangs out with.
No one's telling him to put that taco down.
Well, it actually gets deeper than that.
Listening?
Well, let's really look at Andy Ruiz. Do you guys know what type of background he comes from? He was thrown out of his house at a young child.
I was guessing troubled.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what boxer doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
So he's thrown out of his house as a kid. Like his dad put his foot down, tossed him out of the house, and it kind of put Andy Ruiz at a fork in the road. Well, Andy Ruiz is still riding that fork. Mm-hmm. Andy Ruiz needs to make a decision. Like when you look at the colors of his ring apparel, you look at the logo of his name, you look at the tattoos on his body, he needs to put that gang lifestyle away.
Okay.
And he needs to surround himself with people that force him to go to the gym.
I think he's going to fall into that category that once he reached that apex in his career,
that's it. Yeah.
You know, Anthony Joshua, he's hungry. Andy Ruiz, he's full.
Okay. Look at his recent purchases. He's got a couple cars. He deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
Deserves it.
Yeah.
But then he's got some, like, studded-out AK-47 with a 5-point crown on it. You know? Like, we get it. You're a Latin king.
Yeah.
We get it. Mm-hmm. We understand that. But at some point, you've got to take responsibility for who you are and where you are and what it took to get there and maintain it.
I think it comes down to how you prioritize yourself.
Look who he hangs out with.
Exactly. It's do you want boxing or you want this gang lifestyle? You know, and I mean, I know what I would pick if I was Andy Ruiz. And dude, you're on top of the world right now.
Well, he's got a definite payday coming, another payday coming. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you got to say to yourself, hey, guys, man, I got you. Let me just handle my business. Mm-hmm. We'll come full circle once this whole fight thing ends. But he's not. He's surrounded himself with those people. I don't
think so. I think you're right. I don't agree. I don't think that his head's into the game. All right, and I do think that...
And it's a shame. Like, look at his amateur pedigree. Look at his professional pedigree. They put love into him.
We're not going to discount Andy Ruiz at all, man. Uh-huh. We're not going to. But in this rematch coming up, if it happens, which I'm assuming that it will, it's not going to go Andy Ruiz's way. In fact, I think Anthony Joshua is going to pepper him up, and it's going to be done. I don't think it goes 12, and I think he knocks his ass down.
Hey, Miguel, did you watch the interview that Anthony Joshua did in regards to, like, his feelings of the John Ruiz fight?
Like, no, I actually have seen that I would categorize him as lying low for his usual stance, so I must have missed it.
Okay, so on his Instagram...
I do have odds for you. The December 7th fight has opened with Joshua 3-1 favorite.
That's smart.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's going to go up. I will say that the things coming out of Anthony Joshua's mouth about stepping on the gas and really kind of pushing it forward were exactly the opposite of what I think he needed to do. I think he needed to kind of step on the brake and just keep him at the end of his fists. Mm-hmm. You know, I think he got caught up on trying to make a huge statement, kind of like Deontay Wilder did, and he got caught.
Right.
You know, and he didn't recover well.
Pretty messed up, huh?
Yeah. Miguel, what's your feelings with how Andy Ruiz and how he surrounds himself?
Well, the Latin Kings have a serious aspect to them, right? So there's a whole world there that, I agree with you. I think it's something that he really does need to put behind, but it does open up a lot of, interesting questions over loyalties and things like that. At the end of the day, if he feels that, he owes something to that life, or anything like that, now he's in a position maybe where he can help people out, and that may be, hey, clean my suits and I'll give you a couple $100 a week kind of, jobs and things for the hangers on and stuff. So it's the Buster Douglas syndrome too, You see Buster, there was a huge Sports Illustrated article. He was like 300 pounds and they had pictures of him like in front of his favorite deli and stuff. But they also had pictures of him in his mansion playing pool with, like, the uncle that lived with him and, the 3 cousins that live with him and, like, the whole entourage of the family, everybody tagging along. Now, Ruiz may not have a real, nuclear family, but whatever his extended family is, I think, Ruiz shows that type of loyalty to that lifestyle. I agree with you. It'll be an impediment to his boxing career.
And I mean, hey, listen, man. When you got Creeper, you got Puppet, and you got Oso helping you out, I get all that, But at the end of the day, you got to put that behind you. And you know what? And those guys, if they're really your friends, if they really cared about you, they would actually understand that as well.
They support you, too. They're part of the support system.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's got that.
Here, I'll give you an example. Michael Bisping. Mm-hmm. The guy did prison time before he came over and fought for the UFC. Mm-hmm. When he does interviews, when he did his Hall of Fame speech, he gave thank you to the people that he was getting in trouble with, the gang that he ran with, the guys. Man, I'm still the same guy. It's just I gotta get my stuff done. Mm-hmm. And whether you like Michael Bisping or not, the guy was involved with some really shady things. Obviously, MMA. You're over in Europe before he got here, mm-hmm. and he grew. If you're gonna be a champion, it's just not. It's not a physical thing. Mm-hmm. It's a mental thing as well.
Right.
Right. So, Miguel, to change topics. Deontay Wilder is supposed to be fighting Luis Ortiz. I think they're saying November now. It was September originally, November.
Is it happening or what?
Why do you think they're even toying with that idea?
Well, it looks like it is getting set for 11/7, November 7th. Mm-hmm. They don't have a venue yet, but it's starting to get listed out there and stuff. And both them and Tyson Fury, both camps, have agreed to take another fight in between and then leave their rematch for the beginning of next year. I think that's what it is. You've got Joshua and Ruiz at the end of this year, and, you sort of want to schedule the big fight, the big payday, sometime, separate from that. They already kind of went head-to-head recently. Not only that, but I was thinking about the items, these guys, when the first fight happened, these guys then went on to sign with ESPN, and I'm talking about Tyson Fury. And, Wilder, after a flirtation with certain other entities, decided to stick with Showtime and the PBC. So when that division came forward, everybody said, threw their hands in the air and said, it's same old boxing, we're never going to get these deals done. Maybe the next year or the last year or so, these guys have been working on just that. That it does take a little bit of time to iron out some of those details and stuff. But there are some signs, and, Fury is handled by Frank Warren, and, he competes with Hearn, and Hearn's a mover and a shaker, and they're going to want to get that fight done. But I think, with the zone involved, and they won't be involved in that fight, but with the zone out there and fielding Wilder issues, Wilder fielding an offer from them, I think they had to let all these business entities play themselves out and establish themselves. So I think they were wise to wait a year. Everybody was just on ESPN. The next fight is going to be on DAZN. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see who delivers and stuff. So after a year, that major fight, I think the business patterns are there. On an interesting note, Eddie Hurd, moving and shaking, has gotten Lomachenko to go to England to fight Luke Campbell. And, that's Top Rank and that same entity and stuff. So they're doing business out there. They're trying to make the fights, I think. I don't think this is the stall type of play, although it did look like that in the original stance. Sorry to ramble, but it's a lot.
It's fine. Well, speaking of December, we got another big fight coming up in a rematch to what I thought so far is the combat sport bout of the year with Jared Hurd versus J-Rock.
J-Rock.
That's coming the week after this supposed Joshua versus Ruiz fight. And I'm looking forward to that, dude. December is going to be a good month for combat sports, man.
And the UFC always comes on strong towards
at the very end. Yeah, at the very end.
So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to push forward as well.
Okay. Anything else on the boxing line, Miguel?
Well, I was going to talk about the Wilder and Ortiz fight and the fact that, that we can expect Fury to take a fight similar to the one he took. And then when they make the second fight, that one will come with the same type of questions before we actually get it fit. Where is it going to be? How much is each guy going to get paid? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, looking through some of these things, I think what the hang-up is that Ruiz's offer may be like $9 million, right? And that sounds terrific, except for that they're offering Joshua close to $30 million. So if he's going to make a third of what the other guy did, where's the 50-50 split with the champion? That sort of stuff. Belts. So there's definitely some things that need to be ironed out. Yeah, but I think, the path is there, and that we're going to get Fury and Wilder at the beginning of next year. It's going to be a huge fight, and probably the favorite of that fight will depend on where it is. I think Fury would be favored in England.
No.
And I think Wilder would be slightly favored in Vegas.
It's
Fury's
going to be in
moved
Vegas.
here. Fury's living in California now.
Yeah, it's going to be in Vegas for sure. When ESPN signed up for the Tyson Fury sweepstakes, they pretty much told him, hey, your next 3 or 4 bouts are going to be in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Just pencil it in. So that's probably why he moved to California. I bet he's got a training camp out there. The travel down to Las Vegas is, hardly anything.
Yeah, the horse can pull that carriage,
Yeah,
from California to Vegas for sure.
So let's assume, let's put on the table that it's Las Vegas. What are the odds? What do you think the odds? What do you think they start at? Do you think Deontay starts as a mild favorite?
I think Deontay could open up, minus 150.
I don't think that I wouldn't even touch that until I see how he does against Ortiz, because he got pieced up against Ortiz.
He still finished Ortiz though.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. You watched one round.
Hey,
did you watch anything else in that fight?
And
how did Wilder look?
Wilder looked like Wilder.
Hot garbage
I don't
is
know.
how he looked. What do you mean you don't know?
It ended.
Okay, wait a minute. Hey, how did he look? Well, why don't you go rounds 1 through 9?
Okay, well, what happened around 10? That's all that matters.
Okay.
That's all that matters.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you.
Okay.
But I am going to tell you, you're not going to discredit, 9 out of 10 times, Ortiz won that fight with subtracting that one round, which was the last round. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to sit here and say Deontay should be the favorite, I think the stupidest thing in the world is him fighting Luis Ortiz again. He's fallen into the Anthony Joshua trap with Andy Ruiz. He's risking it, and I get it.
It's a risk. It is. You're right. It is a risk. He's not pulling the same risk that Tyson Fury is.
Dude, Tyson Fury might be the most complete boxer out of the three of them,
and he's taking the easiest fights.
I don't know. The last guy he fought was undefeated.
Yeah, I think he still finished him in 2. Now he's got who does Fury got next? Miguel. He's got a suite, right? A top ranked suite.
I think it's somebody similar. They've been talking about Otto Wallen. Mm-hmm. Who's had a couple of fights in the United States, but he's a European fighter, basically. He had a no contest on the Christina Hammer, Clarissa Shields undercard, and then came back with a victory to remain undefeated recently. So that's probably what we're looking at with him. Again, that's not something to get anybody excited about. Fury's just counting on himself and grabbing the payday and on himself selling the fight. He doesn't need the opponent,
I'm not excited about either of those fights.
With no risk.
Yeah, I'm not excited about either of those fights. The only fight I'm excited about is Fury versus Wilder.
And they're building up for that. That I think the way how this is mapped out, they're giving Tyson Fury a bunch of fights on American soil to help boost his ranks, boost his popularity, so you can follow the money.
Well, the only popularity where he needs to be boosted is Europe. And if you think that they're going to fall in love with a gypsy for some reason overnight, like they've changed their mind after hundreds of years of, casting doubt and disdain on those people, you're wrong.
Well, I mean, right now, I think he is the number 1 heavyweight boxer in the world right now.
I think, you know what, man, as far as I'm concerned, you can put belts around anybody you want. In my opinion, the guy that should be wearing them is Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I ain't going to argue that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm a Wilder fan. I'm a Joshua fan.
Dude, I'm a Wilder fan. But, he has yet to show discipline. Mm-hmm. When Wilder starts showing discipline, he'll be truly dominant. But until then, you got the lucky punch type going. And, hey, man, who's not a fan of that? Mm-hmm. I am. You obviously are.
Yeah.
But, you show me some discipline out of Wilder, I'll show you somebody that's, top 10 in the last 20 years ever set foot in that ring as a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
So, all right, Miguel, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much, for a little boxing update. And, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks so much for having me. And definitely keep your eye out on the heavyweight division. More to come. Fights are just getting announced now. We got months of build-up, so should be fun.